I stand in support of House Bill 4145. I advocate for passage as a firearms enthusiast, a holder of a concealed handgun license, and, like many here on the floor, a veteran who spent a lot of time in places around the world in defense of our people and our place. I actually stand here in our chamber with the belief that our actions have consequences, that we can make the lives of those who live in our communities better, our neighborhoods, our homes safer. I stand here knowing that gun violence, whether it be the kind discussed earlier in the speech or the kind of violence that occurs every day that's not talked about in homes across the land, that gun violence is not normal. It's not the way things should be, and I believe it's not the way things have to be. I believe House Bill 4145 is about preventing gun violence. It is an ounce of prevention in the attempt to save a gallon of blood, a gallon of tears. I believe this is ultimately about saving lives. And contrary to the assertions made by some, especially in the tsunami of email that I've received over the last several days, I personally do not believe this bill authorizes extraordinary police powers. I do not believe it is an unjust constraint upon the Second Amendment, by law-abiding citizens anyway. And I believe this bill will not put women at greater risk, but rather actually protect both men and women who currently are at risk. This body has previously recognized the risks involved in crimes of passion, when passions escalate into tragic outcomes because of the easy availability of lethal weapons. House Bill 4145 is a natural extension of these protections, established previously to reflect our culture, to reflect our current realities. Many people involved in lasting romantic relationships never formalize their love through marriage. For good or for ill, that is our current reality. Our laws should not differentiate for the purposes of public safety between married and unmarried partners. And we know, as was said earlier today, that whatever the formality of a relationship, that women are 5 times more likely to be shot and killed if a firearm is present. I believe that's unacceptable. I believe here in the United States, here in Oregon, we can do better. We are the place and the people that sent people to the moon and back. We defeated tyranny on a global scale. In World War II, we transformed deserts into fertile farmlands. Here in America, Americans believe that self-evident rights warrant self-evident responsibilities. And I believe it means we have a duty to stand for those who cannot stand for themselves. Domestic violence, has been described earlier, is an awful, terrible, and tragically all too common reality for far too many. And I want to be very clear. No law can eliminate domestic violence. I also want to be clear that guns are not the cause of domestic violence. But firearms are, in fact, tools created for varying purposes, but tools with an inherent lethal capacity. And some people, not a majority, not a plurality, not even a large percentage, but a few people demonstrate behaviors wholly inconsistent with the responsibility we should demand of all who own and all who possess firearms. These deadly few make society fearful. They put all our families at greater risk. And for those who choose to be a part of society, it is necessary to seek a balance between rights and responsibilities. In fact, in District of Columbia v. Heller, even Justice Scalia, not somebody known to be a bastion of liberalism, said that, like most rights, the right secured by the Second Amendment is not unlimited. House Bill 4145 is consistent with that notion of reasonable limits upon the few who demonstrate cause. I believe this bill is tightly written to reduce the lethality of domestic violence through reducing the availability of lethal force during extraordinary stress. House Bill 4145 provides that a judge, when sufficiently convinced of a danger to a romantic partner, can take appropriate steps. It is an extension of what that judge can already do for a spouse today. Colleagues, this bill may not save thousands, hundreds, it may not even save a few, but the chance of saving one is worth our time, it's worth our effort. And I believe preventing even one tragedy is our duty today. I urge my colleagues to vote yes for House Bill 4145.